scale of 23 is funny because we're from internment to internism.
Greetings, YouTube. You know, you've already guessed probably from the title what this is about, but the caveat is, the older I get, this is disgusting, the older I get, the more interested I am in other people's ailments. What I mean by this, for you young people, you'll understand later. Most of my life, you talk to older guys, and they start telling you about their hemorrhoids, and their hips are acting up, and you know, they got shrapnel from World War I working its way out of their nostrils. With the exception of the World War I dude, the others just bore the crap out of me. I mean, I couldn't think of anything less interesting than hearing about somebody's physical problems. And then it happened. I was talking to some old guy, and he starts talking about his inflamed coccyx erectus bone, or whatever the heck was wrong with him. Come here, Charlie. And I found myself very intrigued. And not only was I intrigued, I found myself actually wanting more. Now I would visit him from time to time and see how his situation was, and gradually I began to share some of my own ailments. The bonding was a thing of beauty. Two guys with completely screwed up bodies, swapping procedures, diagnosing each other's problems. There are some benefits to getting old, and that's one of them. You're never going to run out of people that are interested in hearing about your problems. That being said, I just discovered problem 647 on my own meat suit, which is a little scary. Nothing serious, but a little depressing. I'm just trying to be a victim. Here it's tinnitus. Now, one of the things I learned is that the actual pronunciation is tinnitus. But I think most of us have been pronouncing it tinnitus for so long that we're going to fight the system, because I don't think anything should be called tinnitus. It sounds like an island off the coast of Greece. And I just won't have anything to do with it. So it's tinnitus for the purposes of my case of tinnitus. Now, for the last couple of years, I don't know, 5 years, who knows, I've been hearing this tone, this high frequency tone in my left ear, and it kind of comes along, it'll be beep, and it lasts for maybe 30 seconds, and, you know, I always used to think I was having a stroke, and I'd start saying my goodbyes, and within 30 seconds or a minute, it would, you know, fade out, and I'd tear up the wheel and just drive on. That's been going on for years. I don't know, man. A month, 2 months ago, the time's flying so fast. I'm sitting on the couch, working on my iPad, and here comes that high-pitched tone again in my left ear. And I can't even make, it's so high that literally if I could imitate it, I'd be cracking windows for, you know, a 5-mile radius. But it's, beep, you know, much higher. Sorry, knock it off. And the difference was it didn't go away, and it's still blaring in my ear right now. So, you know, like most of us, I immediately ran to the internet and started to self-diagnose, and within 5 seconds I realized I had tinnitus. It's tinnitus, it's tinnitus. Shut up. And one of the first videos I saw was the former captain of the Starship Enterprise. I'm not really good at impersonations. William Shatner. Is it Shatner or whatever? You just, when I'm not sure how to pronounce something, I kind of mumble it so that, you know, might be right, might be wrong, you know, who knows. It's the same way with spelling. Spelling is a weakness. W-E-E-K-N-E-S-S. Just kidding. But when I run into a word that I'm not sure about how to spell, this is before the days of spell check, I would just write it so sloppy that it could be right. Maybe that is 2 L's. Maybe it's not. Maybe the guy had a little bit of a grand mal seizure. So anyways, William, he comes on, and apparently this guy has been suffering since, he had some special effects explosion that he was standing too close to. Way back, man, when they were filming Star Trek. I used to call it Star Trek. See, I'm all screwed up. Star Trek. And he's been dealing with it ever since. I mean, and I got the impression that he was like close to committing suicide as a result of it. I mean, if you have it, you know what I'm talking about. Now, my father just told me yesterday when he called up and interrupted the other video I was doing. Sorry, Dad. That he hears a weed eater or a weed whacker in his right ear. And so I started thinking about that, and I thought to myself, I'd rather hear the weed whacker than this ungodly frequency. It's like nails going down a chalkboard, played in fast speed. So the bad news is, in all my YouTube video research, there's no cure for it. And it makes sense. I mean, as loud as it is, and it's loud, I mean, you cover your ear instinctively and you still hear it because it's not really a sound. It's emanating from the nerves in your head, which means there's no sound to cover up, which is probably why they're never going to cure it. I mean, I hate to be a pessimist, but it's nerve damage. So, I got to go get an MRI of my head, which, that always scares me because I'm afraid they're going to find out that there's nothing in my head at all. It'll be an interesting news story for a while. But, people will start throwing rocks at me, and once they realize that I'm too stupid, never mind. That joke is dying. Okay, so they're going to do that just to make sure there's no, I don't know what the hell they're looking for. Something they could repair, I don't know, damage to the nerve that they can see. Who knows? Charlie, where are you going? So, yeah, it looks like I'll be living with this for the rest of my life. Now, I am going to go pick up some prescription of, and I can't pronounce this word either, man, ginkgo biloba or whatever. Never been able to pronounce it. It's that with zinc, and that is supposed to, Charlie, stop that. What are you doing? Come here. Stop that. That's supposed to do something to minimize this. I hope it works. But I like to be negative because that way you're never disappointed. You know what I mean? Like, I expect the worst. And that way when something semi-good happens, it's even more exciting. So, tinnitus. I got it. Now, the message to you people is the younger ones especially, but this applies to anybody that doesn't have it. Protect your hearing, man. Now, the doctor immediately told me that, something like 70 or 80% of cops get it and it's always in the left ear because you're driving around with your windows down and a siren blaring. Not that you're driving around with your siren on all day, but it, accumulatively, it adds up. That and, the gunfire. I mean, I've been around guns since I was 18. Military, we weren't wearing earplugs. Now it's a lot more strict than it used to be. I mean, we wore earplugs at the firing range, but jumping out of airplanes and all that's noisy. He's standing in the door with 2 C-130 propellers blaring at you. Or, sitting on a Huey UH-1A, the predecessor to the Blackhawk. It gets noisy. So if I'm talking loud sometimes, that's the reason. I can't really think of any way to spice this video up. I'm going to try to make it exciting, but it's kind of a dull subject. So yeah, that's it, man. Tinnitus. If you're into, like two of my boys, my twins are musicians. And I'm going to call them up and make sure they're wearing their hearing protection because, man, you don't want it. You lay down at night and try to sleep. Now I got to look into all these little devices where I can play white noise that should cancel some or most of it out. It's a living hell, man. I mean, the depressing thing is to think that I may never, ever, as long as I live, hear silence again. I mean, you know, I walk out here in these woods and, you know, all I hear is that screech. Hey, by the way, do you guys like the new me? The non-cussing in the videos? It's been actually kind of fun. I like it. I think it adds an air of class. You know, I was telling my wife, I said, you know, such a foul mouth. And it's really just, it makes you look ignorant. You know? And then I told her to shut the no, I'm just kidding. But, that's it, guys. Enjoy the credits. You guys, I hope you watch the credits, because I generally like to put cool stuff in there. Or maybe it's not cool, but it's just cool to me. You know, I'll put like video clips of what I was doing while out on my walk or something. I'm boring the crap out of myself. Love you.